Hey everybody, welcome back to Tanner's Books and Beyond, here today with my TBR Goals for DiverseAthon 2, the sequel. Now if you've been following me or several booktubers like me in the past few weeks, then you'll know that DiverseAthon is coming up. It starts on the 22nd of January and goes until the 29th, and both of those days are Sundays, and this time around it's being hosted by Christina from Christina Marie, Joes from Scribbles Reads, Monica from She Might Be Monica, and Simon from Savage Reads, so I will link all of their channel info below. You probably actually heard about it when it was happening in September, so if you're already familiar with it, then you can probably just skip ahead a few minutes because I'm going to talk about stuff that you've probably already heard in other people's videos, and they probably talked about it better than I will in this video. But if you haven't actually heard of DiverseAthon yet, and you're just finding out about it now, then you can listen to this part. So DiverseAthon is quite simply a readathon where you focus on reading diverse books, and by diverse books we mean books that have people of color as the main characters, or the main characters are queer, or they have physical disabilities, or they have mental illnesses. You find diverse books like that and you support them, you read them, and you go beyond your comfort zone, because I know, especially on BookTube, it's an issue where a lot of people, they focus on these stories that they're just these straight white people of able-bodied just falling in love. And those are fine. There's plenty of great stories like that. But when they saturate the market, it becomes very bland and stagnant and really concerning that a company will see something like that and still put more money behind that than something much more new and much more interesting. And you also want to look for diversity in the authors, which was, I guess it was a major thing in September edition as well, but this month we're especially wanting to focus on this, and this is what we call own voices books, and that is when the author is of the same marginalized group as the characters that they're writing as. So for example, a black person who is writing about black characters, or a character with a disability who is written by an author that shares that same disability. The reason it's important to have own voices books is, well, for one, you know that you're getting a genuine experience from the author. I mean, the author knows what they're talking about. They're not going to resort to stereotypes for the characters. They're not going to misrepresent anyone, and they're not going to be spreading false information about this culture or this group or this disability or what have you. And the second reason to support diverse books and diverse authors is because so often these books, they kind of get thrown under the rug when it comes to getting published, if they're able to get published at all. So many publishers, they feel like diverse stories don't sell. I mean, the reason everyone was losing their shit over the awesomeness of Hidden Figures becoming the best movie, or the highest grossing movie of 2016, though let's be fair, it's probably the best movie of 2016 too. The reason that was such a big deal is because that was something that might be a wake-up call for Hollywood to see that a film led by three black women can be just as popular, if not more so, than other big franchise films. Anyways, the point I'm trying to make for DiverseAthon is that by supporting all of these books and by encouraging all reading diversely and writing diversely as well, we start to see more diverse books and diverse characters and authors start to crop up in the market. They stop becoming a fluke. They just become a regular thing, become a regular aspect of literature, because that's what they should be. Even the act of just buying diverse helps, because we're voting with our wallets, and like Hidden Figures, we're showing that this story that doesn't focus on straight, white, able-bodied people is still going to sell, it can still be a success, it can still resonate with people. But yeah, that was my little speech. You're probably going to hear a lot of similar stuff being said by a lot of booktubers in the upcoming weeks. You're probably going to hear me say it quite a few times as well in my coming videos. But yes, now that is finished, and we can move on to... So I've been trying to figure out my TBR really up until this point. I made a last-minute change right before even filming this video. I also pared it down from what I initially had because, like I said, I wanted to focus on own voices stuff, and I took a closer look at some of the books I had on there and realized that while they certainly look good, and it definitely looks like they've been well-received, they weren't actually written by own voices authors. So I'm still going to read them, obviously, but I'm just saving them for outside of the readathon. So here is my TBR goals that I may not necessarily be able to get through all of them, but I'm going to try. So the first one I'll be reading is Jenna/Finn by Hannah Moskowitz and Kat Helgeson. This is a book that I've heard a lot of great things about, partly just because I'm a big fan of Hannah Moskowitz now, and so I hear her wax poetical about it a lot. And also, whenever I mention it to my friend RC, he just kind of pterodactyl screeches in joy because of its existence. It's about two girls. One, I think, is just entering college, and the other one is 25 with a career in already, and they're both in the same fandom, and they both start messaging each other about stuff happening in the fandom as they also start to explore their sexuality and come to terms with other stuff happening in their lives. The next one I'll be reading is Star Touch Queen by Roshani Chokshi. This is a book about Maya, who is a princess who is a destiny for disaster. So she's put in an arranged marriage by her father, basically to just get her out of the kingdom so the kingdom doesn't get doomed. And she actually does okay in the arranged marriage for the first while. Then she finds out that her husband has some secrets of his own, and there's some weird magical stuff going on in the palace, and so she has to start unraveling the mystery before it's too late. and this one looks fun. It says it's steeped in a lot of Indian mythology and folklore, which I have enjoyed on an academic level when I took some classes on it in university, but I've never actually read a story that has had it as its focus, and I'm glad that this is the first one because, again, it's a known voices book, so I'm glad that I'm getting, like, the good stuff, the genuine stuff from this novel. Next I have Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe by Benjamin Alire-Sayens, and I hope I pronounced that right. This book is about two boys, Aristotle and Dante. One of them is white, one of them is Latino. They both have a lot of issues going on in their lives, and then they fall in love. And that's basically the gist of what I get on the back cover. General consensus about this book is that it is fucking adorbs, so I look forward to reading this. So those are the first three, and I am cautiously optimistic that I'll be able to get all 6 done, but again, I might get busy, I might just take too long to read the books, I might be able to get through everything. But going beyond that, these are the ones that are a bit more iffy in my ability to get through them in time. So after those is The Reader by Tracy Chee, and this takes place in a fantasy world where books and stories don't exist. The main character, Sephia, I believe she witnesses the death of her parents and the kidnapping of her aunt, and then, like, the only thing left behind, the only hope she has to save them is this mysterious rectangular object that has, like, symbols on the pages, and yeah, it's a book, and she discovers books and storytelling, and as far as I can tell, she basically, like, invents storytelling in this universe. It's got Asian representation by an Asian author. It also looks delightfully meta, so I'm hoping I'll be able to get to this in time. After that one, my next goal will be Heidi Hellig's The Girl from Everywhere. Everywhere? Everywhere. This is a book about a girl named Nyx who is half Chinese, half white, and she is on a time-traveling pirate ship, essentially, with her father, who is also bipolar. They go through all sorts of time periods and places and even lands of myth and legend. Nyx's father is searching for her mother, who is in 1868 Honolulu. He's hoping that he can find her and save her life, and Nyx is concerned that if he does this and changes the past too much, she could be erased from existence, which, you know, is one of the downsides of time traveling a lot as a career. And then the last book on the docket, which is also the longest, and so most likely the one I won't finish or may not even get to for DiverseAthon, is We Are the Ants by Sean David Hutchison. This book is about a boy named Henry who has basically all of the trauma that you can in life. Grandmother has Alzheimer's, so she's slowly slipping away from him. His brother is a college dropout with a pregnant girlfriend. His boyfriend just committed suicide, and he's constantly being abducted by aliens since he was 10 years old. Also, the world might be ending. So, this book looks unlike anything I've ever read, and so I'm really excited to read it. Hopefully I can read it for DiverseAthon, but I'm really getting the feeling that it might be later down the line. It looks very interesting, and so I can't wait to read it whenever that may be. So those are my reading goals for DiverseAthon. Hopefully I will be able to get through them all. So one last thing I'm going to say, and one cool thing about it this time around, is that DiverseAthon is not actually being restricted just to BookTube. You can participate in the Twitter chats that are going to be going down all week. You can do it through Tumblr, or you can do it through Instagram, or you can even talk about it on Facebook, just pester your family about it. So if you don't have BookTube or simply don't have the time to make a bunch of videos about it, no worries, you can just participate in it through those platforms. And that's all I've got for you today, but stick around because DiverseAthon is right around the corner, and I cannot wait to see you guys there. So until next time, I'll see you all later.